I think we're live right now. Should be. Are we? Looks like that is what's going on. Welcome to Movie Crap. Here we go. Finally, can everyone hear me? I hope you can. I'm just going to send out a tweet to everybody. Sounds like you guys can hear me. Send out the notifications to all the various social. Doesn't look like Facebook's working. That'll not happen this time. That's fine. I don't think I have as many fans. Hey, everybody's. This is the worst way to find out about a Boondocks reboot. Sorry about that. Am I? Oh, my headphones are in. I didn't realize that. Oh, I can hear myself. I mean, I can. What was that? Okay. Anyway, hey everybody, how's it going? I'm gonna try to keep this quick tonight, just cause there are things. Come on, all these things aren't going. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm glad to have all of you here. It's going to be an interesting show. Maybe not as big. We're in this room because there's other people staying here, and I'm going to try to keep this brief so people can go to bed. Not me, but other people. And seems like we're good. All right. Let me get my topics out here. Topics, whatever we call them, on the Movie Crap Show. Sorry. I feel like, is everybody cool? Is this cool? All right. Let's see. Are we good there? We're good everywhere. Okay, so welcome to Movie Crap. This is my movie news streaming show. If you're new to the show, if you're new to watching it right now, there'll be questions at the end. If you want to ask a question before the end, you can do a super chat, which is a great way to support the show. I will be doing Patreon questions as well, which I need to bring those up. I have a good one, a good piece of news that I actually didn't know about, believe it or not, which is kind of crazy. I'm actually excited about. Well, not that I'm ever not excited, but you know what I mean. Anyway, let's get to the first topic. That was weird. Okay. This is an interesting one already. All right, so let's talk about the new Boondocks reboot. This is going to be on HBO Max. It has the involvement of the creator of the Boondocks comic strip. Sorry, chair moved. The creator of the Boondocks comic strip, Aaron McGruder. He is back to Boondocks on these 2 new seasons. Now, this is sort of a reboot, sort of not, I guess, because when you say reboot, you think, oh, hey, we're going to get like, Regina King back and all these writers, and it'll be like kind of a new thing. It sounds like a completely new version. And the only one I can find out about, unless someone in the chat knows any different, it sounds like they might be doing a whole new thing. I don't know who's coming back for the previous one. So we'll see about that. But it's supposed to be Boondocks in a modern context. I think Boondocks, when you think of Boondocks, I always think of a post 9/11 thing, because that's when the comic strip became big. And then there's the cartoon and stuff, and it kind of exists in that era. And I guess this is a way to free it from that era and have it be kind of in a modern context. I sort of don't understand why they can't use the same classic characters and sort of reboot it, but the original show will be on there as well as this. So cool. So that'll be on HBO Max. You're getting 2 seasons. I'm not 100% sure what he's going to do with it and who's going to be involved, but he is involved, and that sounds interesting to me. I think we can all agree on that, but I sort of wish they would I think Regina King should come back. I think a lot of the writers should come back, as well as Aaron McGruder. I'm a little curious other writers and creatives that will be involved in this, but they did give it 2 seasons, so it seems like it's promising beyond just Aaron McGruder's involvement with HBO With HBO Max, Ryan Walterson brought up in the chat that John Witherspoon is coming back to voice Granddad. So that kind of sounds like they're probably going to get everyone, but maybe Regina King, I believe, did she win an Oscar or did she get an Oscar? I forget, but she's probably cost more. So that might be part of their hesitation. The next thing is NBC announced their streaming service or universal streaming service or whatever you want to call it, called the Peacock. The big news about this is we all knew they were going to do one, but this is the formal announcement. They're going to have a Saved by the Bell reboot, which is going to bring back Elizabeth Berkley and Mario Lopez in their respective characters, and it's going to be about how Bayside has changed because Zach Morris, who's now the governor, has decided to kind of take away the smaller, less economically stable schools and close them. And so these kids now have to go to Bayside, and it's going to be Saved by the Bell, seemingly about economic disparity, which is not something the show did whatsoever. I'm curious. One thing that's weird is Mark Paul Gosselaar was not asked to do this. Apparently he was like, I'd like to come back, but it's sort of weird, like his character's in it and they didn't ask him. I can't imagine Screech not being in this, but I think the rest of the cast hates him. And I think the people who do Zach Morris is trash should be involved. There's going to be a Battlestar Galactica reboot. What that is exactly, I don't know. I'm a little confused about the Battlestar Galactica reboot and what exactly it is. But I think that's going to happen too. And there's going to be a Punky Brewster reboot. I forget if Soleil Moon Frye is involved in that. But anyway. The next thing I wanted to talk about. So there's going to be a Funko Pop movie. This is happening at Warner Animation. Warner Animation seems to like doing these things with brands. And they're doing, because they did the Lego movies. And they announced 2 directors, which makes this sound a lot more promising than it has any right to be honest with you. It has Teddy Newton, who worked with Brad Bird a lot and who Brad Bird has a lot of faith in. He also directed the short Day and Night, which, did that play before Inside Out or something? I don't know. It played before something, but we've seen it. It's with the sun and everything like that. The sun and the moon going through that person's body. Apparently, he's very responsible for the look and the feel of the original Incredibles and the Jack Jack attack sequence Incredibles 2. But the probably one that you probably know better is Mark Dindal, who did Cats Don't Dance, is apparently one of the other directors involved in this. So here's the thing. Those 2 directors being involved in this project makes it sound interesting. Like if you heard these 2 directors are involved in a movie, you'd want to see it. But the difference between like this and the Lego movie is Lego movie had a like there's a whole kind of there's whole films and short films made out of Legos, and like there's a whole kind of genre before a Lego movie happened. And Legos, like you can like build stuff. I don't know if you heard about that. Is Izzy in here? Oh, hey Izzy, I didn't realize that. Okay. How's it going? Nice to see you, Izzy. It sounds like so going back. The thing with the Lego movie stuff is like there was a whole genre of that, like a whole genre and more you could do with that was already set up. Funko, I don't know if there's Funko short films. I've never heard of that. And I don't think you could do as much as you could do with the Lego movies. Now, with these 2 directors involved, I'm curious. Like, I want to see this, to be honest with you, with those 2 directors. But I don't think, like, I know Warner Animation has kind of, like, stayed away from the whole Lego franchise after what happened with the Lego Movie 2. It seems like I don't think there's any other Lego Movie projects, unless, I'm sure you guys in the chat will let me know, but it doesn't sound like they're really developing them as with as much fervor as they used to. So I think this is kind of what they're trying to do. I'm not excited about it, but I'm excited for those directors, and I'm a little curious that they got these 2. It sounds like because Disney's not developing enough of these talented auteurs, and you have these 2 talented auteurs. Whoa, Niji Kichu with a $20 super chat, which I'll have to read. But anyway, this doesn't sound to be as promising with Funko. Back to the fun fact. I guess this is a Red Bull fun fact, which means I'm going to drink my Red Bull. Anyway, fun fact from Niji Kichu. Thank you for the $20 super chat. That's very appreciated. Thank you for supporting the show as always. You are amazing. Okay, sorry. Your fun fact is Kubrick insisted that the war room table in Doctor Strangelove be green like a poker table. Staff asked why when the movie is being filmed in black and white. The audience won't know. He said that won't be, they won't, but the actors will. That is very true, and that is a fun. Sorry, my cat rubbing against this Red Bull. Jesus, I keep getting hairs in my. That's gross. Okay, that's an interesting fun fact, and that actually brings up. There's a really good piece in Hollywood Reporter about the actor who's originally supposed to be the drill instructor in Full Metal Jacket and how he got recast and all the drama put onto his life. And it's actually really an interesting article. Go to Hollywood Reporter, check it out. It kind of gets into like the kind of logistics of being in the creative community and then having people fuck you over. Sorry. But anyway, thank you again, Yuji Kiju, for supporting the show. Very thankful of you and how supportive you've been of Movie Crap, this new show, this whole time. So thank you. And thank you everyone, by the way, for being here. Anyway, sorry. I don't, a lot of people, and Ryan Walderson just brings it up with Mark Dindal. Is he doing the Garfield movie or not? I'm not sure, but this big announcement, this does seem to be a priority for Warner Animation. Kind of makes me think that might be more off the table with the Garfield project. But I do think with Funko, apparently what I didn't know, and I guess makes sense, is Warner Media likes making these movies because they can use their own intellectual property and promote their own stuff, which is like, yeah, I don't. That's how they are, I guess. But hey, it's their property. They can do whatever the fuck they want, I guess. So I want to talk about Battle at Big Rock, if I'm saying that right. The Jurassic World Park, whatever short that came out this week, came out on Sunday night. It played after playing, I believe, the original Jurassic World on, was it Sunday night? I believe on FX, and then it came out online. So it's a fine short. It's directed by Colin Trevorrow, who I don't particularly like all that much. He's not horrible, but he's not like good. And here's the thing: is I've seen clips of Jurassic Park movies. Next animation, I'll get to your question after this, but I did talk about it last week. But sorry, the Jurassic World thing is that I've seen I've seen clips of Jurassic Park on TV before, and they've got me so excited for Jurassic Park movies. Particularly, like, you look at the that sequence in Lost World where they're dangling in the van or whatever and on the glass. I remember seeing that and going like, holy shit, I'm like, I have to see this movie. This didn't do that for me, just seeing an isolated clip. I feel like with Colin Trevorrow stuff, like the technical aspects, like the part the kids hanging on the car seat and stuff, that was really cool. But other than that, I didn't really like it, even though it had some actors I liked. The one guy from Moonlight, whose name is escaping me, who's also in another movie I like that I can't remember the title of. But I think, so strategically, I know people have talked about this is a way to remind people about a franchise, because it takes 2-3 years to make a sequel, and you want to keep that franchise fresh in people's minds. And if you're not Marvel, you don't have a constant thing, particularly Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise. But here's the thing with what I think they're really doing beyond that, because I think this is a cool idea that franchises could do, and you could have a director be like, hey, I know you've always wanted to do a James Bond movie, but you don't want to deal with our dumb shit. How about it? Like, because Eon is notoriously picky on productions, that's why Spielberg hasn't worked on it. Why don't you do, like, a 10-minute short, and you could have a director or something do something interesting or remind people. But here's the other thing that I think was going on with this, is that with this is it's reminding you of the end of Fallen Kingdom. Spoilers, if you care. Wait 2 minutes. I'm going to spoil. It spoils it in the thing. I think it's spoiled already. I think it's out because they made this short. It's basically at the end of Fallen Kingdom, the dinosaurs are released and are in the wild in America and are just living among humans. And I think with the humans, and then they're kind of attacking humans and things like that. Well, okay, you just see them released, and then you see them attack these humans in a campground. And it kind of like, that was a cool ending, but it felt like everyone was talking about how they didn't really like Fallen Kingdom. So I think they're like, hey, let's change the narrative into, isn't the next one going to be so cool? And that's what I felt like leaving the movie. Like, the next one's going to be really cool. So I thought, I think that this short kind of reminded you of the possibilities of the next one. It doesn't, because when I remind myself that it's directed by Colin Trevorrow, I think less of that. Izzy brings up, when will we be getting the Mutant Dino Swap teen movie? I don't think that is happening, but that was planned at one point. That seems to be taken away. But that's a good question, Izzy. Thank you for bringing that up. Next up this is an interesting thing. If you saw that clip online of Samuel L. Jackson kind of doing the kind of Avengers Initiative thing, and he mentions mutants and everything like that. That is going to be part of an Infinity Saga box set, and I'm sure you all have the Blu-rays you want to have, or the DVDs, or what have you. But within that, they're going to have like special clips that they find embarrassing, or special alternative shots of certain things from Marvel movies, and they're going to open up the Marvel vault. So I bought box sets like I have the Wire box set, and has exclusive little short films in it, and this is sort of like that, but it's like bonus scenes. So I expect more of those to kind of leak or get released, really, or probably leak also when that gets released. So yes. Next Animation asked about the rumored J.J. Abrams Superman movie. I did talk about that last week, but I'll touch on it a little bit. I know J.J. Abrams, it hasn't been announced. It is a major possibility because he gets financial incentives for starting a franchise. And if you look at the biggest franchises that Warner has, I don't think he'd get Harry Potter. And Batman is going to his good childhood friend, actually, Matt Reeves. So I think basically what you're going to have is two childhood friends who are devotees of Steven Spielberg. Actually, Spielberg brought them in when they were like 12 or something. He's actually known them that long. And they will be running the DCEU. That's what I really think is happening. And I think because also J.J. Abrams wrote a script, Superman Flyby, which everyone really likes. I've never read it, and I don't know what it's about. So I think that is it's an extreme possibility. And J.J. Abrams doesn't really do original properties, and every time he has like the Leo DiCaprio project that Scorsese's on was originally a J.J. Abrams Leo project. None of the projects he does that are like serious Oscar stuff ever happened, so it makes sense that he'd do Superman. He's good at it. He's restarted 3 franchises: Mission Impossible, Star Trek, and Star Wars. 2 of them really kept. Star Trek, that didn't work out, but I don't think that's entirely his fault. So I'm going to just talk quickly about the Creative Arts Emmys. They're not interesting because the Emmys are not good at awarding animation, and that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about. They never have been, although it's been major big peaks of certain animated shows, particularly Batman the Animated Series or King of the Hill or something, when they beat The Simpsons. I will acknowledge that, but this is not one of those years. The Simpsons won apparently for the 11th time for Best Animated Program. That sucks. I am aware of Super 8, and that was not that great. Stranger Things, bro. So yes, The Simpsons won for the 11th time. I don't know why The Simpsons are winning for Best Animated Show right now. That just seems like something that shouldn't be happening, and it shows how out of touch the Emmys are. But for Best Short Form, Love, Death, and Robots episode The Witness won an Emmy for that. Seth MacFarlane won for Best Voiceover, and Sesame Street won for Best Children's Programming. I would object to that, much like how I objected to The Simpsons, but I really like that episode, and I'm a hypocrite. Another news, Issa Rae, if you're familiar with her, is doing a Set It Off reboot. It sounds like she might just be producing it. Who knows if she'll star in it, but that could be cool because there's a lot of prominent, really interesting black actors right now, and I think that could be really cool. Okay. Ryan Walterson also brings up that, that Grover won for that doesn't make sense. About Grover won for voiceover, the voice of Grover, not Grover himself, won for voiceover. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, all right. So the M. Night Shyamalan has released through Universal 2 release dates coming up in the next 4 years, I guess. One is February 26, 2021, and then the other is February 17th, 2023. There is no news on is he self-financing this, which he has done for all his last 3 movies since The Visit, Split, and was it the other one? Glass, sorry. Those are all self-financed. No one's sure if Blumhouse is involved. No one's sure of anything. This is just Universal saying, hey, we're still working with the guy. In what he is doing with them, who knows? But he's just still with them, I guess, and it seems to be a relationship that works out. M. Night has made so much money off of these because he's self-financed. I think he'll probably continue to do that. I bet you Blumhouse is involved, but Blumhouse is busy. They need other they only have so many hours in the day. So so there's all this stuff about a princess bride, a princess. I'm gonna get some water. Let's start this over. There's all this talk about a Princess Bride remake, and here's the thing. One, they keep saying it's they keep saying the Princess Bride remake. The quote was that some very famous people are interested in making it, and it was sort of a drop that the Sony had brought up during a Norman Lear interview, which was sort of completely unrelated. So I don't think there was much of a possibility of this happening, and who knows who these famous people were. It seems like Sony is kind of on a mission to just ruin all of their reputation in the public. I don't think this is going to happen because it's a dumbass idea. I think there are possible takes you could have that would be interesting. I don't know who it would be, but it is weird they're calling it Norman Lear's Princess Bride. He was a financer on it. He was really not involved in it. It's Rob Reiner's Princess Bride or William Goldman's Princess Bride. It's not Norman Lear's Princess Bride, and I love Norman Lear. I really love Norman Lear, and I do think he did a really good job, and I saw what other people are saying on Twitter and everything like that, but I don't think this will ever happen, and it was a stupid idea for Sony to even bring it up, because what the fuck did they think was going to happen? It was like, basically, that Norman Lear interview was actually pretty good, but it got ruined by that stupid quote, so whatever. There's a new poster for Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey continues to find ways to completely unimpress me and not hype itself up for something that the DCEU frankly needs. I have no clue why I should be excited for this movie. So, like, seriously, where's a good trailer at this point? I get that you're going to do it before Joker, but I'm sort of just sick of this nonsense. That's all I have to say about that. So apparently we're getting ads closer to the trailers, based mainly on stuff with a pack with Regal and Cinemark. I don't really like this too much. I don't like ads before the movies. I prefer they kept it to movies, because a lot of movies, smaller movies, deserve a shout out, basically, and they deserve the attention, and it's really hard for them to do it, and we don't need a fucking car ad before. But I also understand it is a really hard business theatrically, and Regal in particular is a little more open about the sacrifices they have to make to basically, like, keep this, profitable. I don't think they're in the poorhouse, but they want to keep this business going. So I get it. I would like to see how this affects things going forward. I don't like a lot of the pre-show stuff that's going on, particularly with, how Nuvi, which is the thing that plays before Regal stuff, and a lot of movie chains, is actually owned by Disney. I don't think that should be allowed whatsoever. I think that should be an independent company who runs that. I think it might be like a subsidiary of Disney, but it's basically Disney owns the biggest pre-show thing in America right now, and I don't agree with that. I think they should be doing it differently. AMC plays a lot of ads too. A lot of them play a lot of ads. I get why they do it, but apparently it's going to be closer to the trailers than ever before. But I don't. It seems like they'll just have one inserted right before the trailers, which Regal has done forever for Coca-Cola. AMC has done forever with Coca-Cola. They even do it during the trailers. This just sounds like they're going to play one at the beginning of the trailers. So it's actually not too unusual, but I hope they don't go too far with that. So MoviePass apparently is not dead, despite what I did last week, and had a very, emotional, MoviePass represented for something for me. All these videos happened. It made this channel profitable for all this time. But still, so apparently one of the guys who helped make MoviePass into the thing it was during its mammoth kind of peak period, basically wants to kind of buy it back and buy the company back that made it. I don't think that's going to happen because there's been no news about that. But interesting in MoviePass related news, on the beginning of the podcast Meet the Movie Press, one of the people on that, Dimitri Panos, who actually worked for them, apparently didn't know this, and I listened to a lot of Meet the Movie Press. It's a good podcast. Talks about what MoviePass was doing and how the company changed, and how originally it was working with the exhibitors, and actually was able to have access to the and this is creepy, the kind of company kind of rewards cards, and we're able to get like full analytics. And I have a rewards card and MoviePass, so they're getting nice analytics on me. Basically, they could tell, like, if someone goes to see this particular movie, what theater are they going to, what concessions are they getting, all things like that, which they really had for a little bit. And then when the $9.99 thing came in, that all went away. So there's a lot of stuff going on with that, but I recommend this week's Meet the Movie Press. It goes more into that. He really tells the whole tale about how it all fell apart and everything like that. And I guess because the company's like fully dead, he can do that. But I think that was really interesting, actually. I don't think it's coming back. I think it is like Napster and MySpace. It started a thing, but it didn't get to become the successful thing, unfortunately. Um, I just saw Izzy's "What's a Good Podcast?" Sorry, I shouldn't have laughed. I'm on the Pizza Party podcast. All right, all right. I like that, Les. I had a good time. I don't know if you did on that one. Okay. So this is a thing that I think is sort of dumb, and I just wanted to make fun of it. But according to Bob Iger's kind of book, he felt that a Disney-Apple merger could have happened if Steve Jobs had lived, despite the fact that apparently they never talked about it at all. So basically, here's my analogy. Since Izzy's in the chat, if Izzy and I were at a taco place, potentially we would eat tacos there. Is basically what this news is. I think it's so stupid because, like, sure, I mean, we've all thought it, but, like, I love the part where he goes, like, I mean, we never actually talked about it, but it could happen, right? And I'm like, dude, come on. Like, leave Steve Jobs alone, Bob Iger. It was a little sad. All right, so apparently Lucasfilm, according to Ryan Johnson, Lucasfilm is still trying to figure out their slate. So all this stuff about what is going to be the first Star Wars movie of these new one announced, no one knows. So basically, Ryan Johnson even feels he could probably make it another original movie happen before he makes another Star Wars. He's not even sure what's happening next. It sounds like, and the Game of Thrones guys, no one's sure how much involvement they're even going to have or how many they're going to make beyond one. It's a whole clusterfuck basically right now. So I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen after Rise of the Skywalker. And the other thing, and this is a real thing, is Jon Favreau says he wants to make a new Star Wars holiday special. Oh, Izzy, update. Izzy has said, she said, I would be angry if we didn't get tacos. So there you have it, exclusive. If Izzy and I were at a Mexican place, we would eat tacos. In case you guys are worried. All right. So Jon Favreau has announced that he would like to make a new Star Wars holiday special, and he has a fondness for it because that's part of his generation. This is very much kind of confirmable because he actually very much he does reference the Boba Fett short in the new Mandalorian trailer. We saw he had the kind of gun he had, Boba Fett had, or the Mandalorian or whatever had in that cartoon. So we already know that he likes the Star Wars holiday special, which is totally a thing. But he said he would like to make one for Disney Plus. I've often thought if Disney Plus really wants to break the internet, quote unquote, they would release the holiday special. It's just a win-win. But I'd be curious what Jon Favreau... Sorry. My cough's still going, but I am better. I'm very curious what Jon Favreau would do with a new Star Wars holiday special. So it was announced that there is a new Wes Anderson movie called The French Dispatch. It has a bunch of people who'd be in indie movies, including Timothée Chalamet. It's going to be by Fox Searchlight and is supposed to show the golden age of journalism and stuff. So that is basically that. There's going to be another Wes Anderson movie called The French Dispatch. Niji Kichu says top draws animating Carmen Sandiego been misleading their animators in the Philippines, underpaid, toxic environment, fired for asking for better pay. I did actually hear about that, and I found that to be very sad. There's actually an interesting story. Maybe I'll wait to talk about it, about an animation company that's now worker-owned, and it seems like maybe that's where the industry is heading. Probably not, but that is unfortunate with Carmen Sandiego, because I read that the person from the Philippines who did that really wanted to work on that project and definitely got screwed over, and that really should not be happening at all. I haven't watched that Carmen Sandiego, to be honest, so I guess I don't have to feel bad that I supported it in any way, but that is unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened, and thank you, Niji Kichu, for the support and the super chat, as always, and I will drink this Red Bull to you, so that I can keep going. Okay, so next up, sorry, I'm gross. I will try to not be gross. So Jojo Rabbit won the audience award at TIFF. This is a big deal because that is one of the big Oscar prognosticatory things that other things that have won, like Green Book, cool, and 12 Years a Slave, and other things that have actually won Best Picture. So it sounds like Jojo Rabbit has a really high chance of actually being a Best Picture nominee with Taika Waititi. Since the awards, the fall festivals sort of ended, I'm not going to talk about it too much. It just seems like the big locks are Marriage Stories, one of the big ones coming out of that. Joker is riding high. It seems like Joker is definitely getting a Best Actor nomination that we all thought. Same with Adam Driver. Tom Hanks is probably going to get one, and Scarlett Johansson. And Hustlers is blowing up, which I think I'm going to see tomorrow. Once you get the coughs out, it's like blah. All right, so this is an interesting story. Oh no, script, don't go up. It's not really a script; it's just a list of things. But all right, so this is an interesting story. I noticed no one was really talking about, so I would like to. Rob Zombie has revealed that there is a behind-the-scenes documentary on the Halloween, when he remade the Halloween movies that he made, but he doesn't think will ever be released. He admits he had a hard time working with the Weinsteins because that's a thing you say now, but because no one said that as much before, and now everyone says it. Not that they weren't evil before they were evil, and I'm sorry to phrase it that way. But apparently there is this like lost media of what it was like making the Halloween remakes with Rob Zombie. So I'm a little curious about that, and we should fire up the lost media wiki right away because I would like to see that if anyone can get access to that. I'm curious, is it like, are they two separate behind the scenes things for each one, or is it a combined thing? And apparently it has like some shit in it that shows how hard it was to make those, which is like, I guess we'll like not hate you for making them. I've never seen them. Maybe I will when the new ones come out. Everyone keeps talking about how the new ones are going to deal with everyone who's affected by the original one. I thought we knew that already, but we're still talking about that. So cool. There's going to be a Texas Chainsaw sequel that's going to take place. I guess, as like a direct sequel to the original. This is kind of a thing I thought would happen with horror, and I'm surprised more of the classic franchises haven't announced things like this. Much like what Halloween did a year ago. They haven't really, and I actually made a video about what I thought Friday the 13th would be if I was allowed to make one involving Corey Feldman's character from Part 4, which I thought would be a cool way to do it, rather than just, you can't really take off from one in Friday the 13th. But yeah, so that's the idea for this. I know the original actress that got away in Texas Chainsaw has died a couple years ago, so no one's sure exactly what the take is going to be other than it being a direct sequel. But this seems to be like, this is this era of horror maybe. I think Nightmare on Elm Street, despite Wes Craven being dead, so maybe that's why they don't do it. They could do that with the actress from 1, 3, and New Nightmare. I think that could work if they did that. I forget her name, and I know you will know in the chat, so don't worry. You don't need to tell me. No, you should say it. Anyway, so this is Mystery Science Theater news. I did see Mystery Science Theater live, and that was an amazing experience. The big cheesy Serkis movie show or whatever. But apparently that is one of the reasons why there will not be a season 13 anytime soon, because anything Mystery Science Theater related is on hold. It's completely on hold until they finish the tour. No one from the new iteration is on tour. They helped write it, but they're not on tour. But I get the impression that the way things work with Mystery Science Theater, they don't have the infrastructure to have two things running at once. So it seems like the tour runs until March, so we're not getting a season 13 of Mystery Science Theater for a long time, basically. So Andy Serkis has brought this up, and I think it is interesting to bring up, especially because Andy Serkis brought this up, is he finds serious issues with de-aging and digital performances, particularly how does it work with copyright and a performance, and how your performance can be molded and edited by a studio without your permission and after you're dead. And he's bringing up that we should be talking about more of this, and it should be a serious issue. I agree with him. So far, no one has violated anyone's like basic human rights by doing it. They theoretically and legally can, but with Rogue One, they asked everybody's permission, or the estates or all the families or whatever, and that seems to be something the studios tend to do. but the idea and the legal okay is there, and I think Andy Serkis is bringing up that is a serious issue, and we need to address it. And as the guy who's the best mocap performer ever, I would say, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me. I think that that's a real thing that we should be talking about, and he's right, and I like that he did do that. I think that is, as his position in the industry, I'm glad that he's publicly talking about something like that. I think that's great. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. So, there's a whole bunch of Paramount Animation news, but it basically, most people were talking about how, oh wait, hold on. Izzy brings up a point. Izzy has now asked, with deep fake technology, do you think we will ever get to the point where we could not only dub, but reanimate lip flaps to foreign films? I saw you bring this up earlier on Twitter. I think that is a possibility. I wonder, though, how that will work. Like, would a distributor do that? Or if the original animation studio did that bring in all sorts of rights things. But I think I think it could happen, and it might. I know it sometimes that, like, people don't like how dubs don't match lip sync, so that might be, like, the few jerks that's a problem with that could help them. But I think that's an inevitability, frankly. When I saw you tweet that earlier, I was like, oh, yeah, that will probably happen, but I guess it would also, like, how much would that cost? I don't think it would cost that much, but they probably want a fancy program, so I think it would depend on everything like that, how quickly it'll be adapted and how often it gets adapted and things like that. Oh, specifically live action. Oh, sorry, Izzy. I could see that. Actually, yeah, I could see that as well, but again, it would have to be, are the actors okay with it? Are they okay with the dubs? It would open up a lot of can of worms, so I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. And also asking for a major studio to pay for that kind of a thing, I think might not happen, because they often, foreign films don't make enough in this country. They might, if there's a big one, like Parasite is a big one that's coming up in the festival circuit, maybe they're like, if we do this, maybe it'll make more. So I could see at least somebody trying it. I don't know, but I feel like that'd be a whole can of worms with that. Anyway, so Paramount Animation has announced a bunch of stuff. First, they announced a kind of, a movie called Rumble with Will Arnett voicing it. That was kind of the main thing, but it also kind of came out a bunch of other stuff. They have a new logo thing that looks nice. They're really trying to, like, beef up their slate. And these are some of the things they have announced. Some of them I already knew about, others I didn't. I knew about a Spice Girls animated movie. I think that's actually going to be a really good idea, because, like, my daughter Sophie loves singing, like, "Hi, see ya, hold tight," and, like, all these Spice Girl things. So I think, like, for her, she's not really going to want to watch Spice World, but she'd probably see animated movie, which I'm assuming would be for kids. I don't really know the take on it, but I think it's, like, perfect for this kind of general age groups we have currently. And then we have it's called The Tiger's Apprentice, which is based on a book. I do not know it, but that's another project. But the one that I didn't know about and was sort of interesting to me is a Mighty Mouse CGI live action hybrid. I obviously like Mighty Mouse and did that review of the Ralph Bakshi's Mighty Mouse. If it was that Mighty Mouse, I think it would be cool. There's probably no way in hell it's going to be that in Mighty Mouse. Like, they'll never do that. But it is interesting they're doing something with Mighty Mouse. I think that has a potential. I hope it's not, like, stupid, like Woody Woodpecker or something. But I think you could, if you got the right director, and there's a history of Mighty Mouse being interesting and working with cool people. And actually, I wouldn't mind if Ralph Bakshi was brought in to at least advise on that, because as weird as those are, they're not the worst thing. Jorge Gutierrez, there was some stuff released for Maya and the 3, I think it is, his event series on Netflix. It looks pretty cool. I should have had a picture that played on here, but I ran out of time, so I didn't do it, and I don't know why I didn't delete this and talked about it anyway. So there's going to be a House Party remake from the Old Country Road, the director of the Old Country Road music video. They've been talking about a House Party remake for a long time. This is by LeBron James's production company. There seems to be a little heat on this. We'll see if that actually happens. But it sounds like that could happen right now at this moment currently. Oh, wow. I'm really blowing through this. We might actually make it around an hour. I think we can. Let's do it. All right. So this is something, it got reported more that Vince Vaughn is in this Hulu movie, but it's actually more than that. There's this film called The Binge. It's basically like The Purge, but if you could just take drugs for 24 hours and it would be totally legal. I thought that was kind of a interesting concept and an interesting way to take the purge thing. I'm not sure how Vince Vaughn is involved, because this is supposed to involve kids who just turned 18 so they can participate in the binge. And I'm really curious, like, how dark that can be, because if you ever, like, I grew up in a city that got consumed by drugs, and let me tell you, it's fun for a little bit, and then it gets really fucking dark. So I actually think this could be a really interesting movie, to be honest with you. Like, I think you could do, like, it'd be fun, like, haha, we're high on, we smoke weed and stuff, and then it could get progressively darker. But maybe that's just my fucked up mind who thinks that's what they would do. Before I get into other stuff, a quick thing is that Fandango said there's going to be a new Frozen 2 trailer on Monday. Sure, I would like to see more stuff concerning, like, Sterling K. Brown and the plot and things like that. I think would be cool. I might need to blow my nose before I do my Toy Story theory thing, and I think I might do that. But before I get to that, let me talk about how Aardman is now a workforce-owned company. They had an executive shakeup. Things have changed a little bit. But Aardman now is a workforce-owned company completely. So if you are a fan of Aardman and you're a fan of what's been going on with animation and the workforces, and they haven't been treating well, it sounds like Aardman is turning a new corner in terms of management and how they're doing. And I'm curious how that's going to affect the motion pictures and what they produce. But if, as we were talking about the Carmen Sandiego thing, as we've been hearing about, what happened with Sausage Party, all those things, it's cool that Aardman is the first I've ever heard of, unless there's probably a company of that does, that they are going to be workforce owned. I think that's really cool. I'm going to talk about some Toy Story things, but I really need to blow my nose. And then, okay. Ryan Welch brings up the Aardman thing was announced months ago, but the executive shakeup thing happened recently. So I know I had heard about that happening, but it seems like it is more formalized and they've gotten people in those executive positions. But I just wanted to bring that up, I guess. So I should have phrased that differently. I'm going to go blow my nose very quickly, and then I'll get into some Toy Story stuff, and then I'll do Patreon questions, and then we'll do regular questions. Yeah. So I will be sorry, I'm trying to load something. I didn't know. Someone said your favorite web cartoons went to SVA. I did go to SVA. I don't know this person. That does sound familiar though. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, I went to SVA. So anyone who went to SVA, sometimes I know more of those people than you think, but I don't think do I know that person? Do I know that person? Did they say they know me? If they do, I won't deny it, because maybe they do. Anyway, I will be right back. Hello. Whoa. Hello. Oh, sorry. If you heard people yelling, my wife and is watching Say Anything. So that's what that is. It's Say Anything. In case you heard people yelling, I realized that sounded more dramatic than it probably really was. Well, I guess if it's Say Anything. Anyway. All right. So I have that loaded. All right. So let's talk about some Toy Story stuff. Joker tickets go on sale. Well, yeah, but there's gonna be a lot of shows. I think you'll. Anyway, I think there'll be enough Joker tickets, but I guess people are. The Joker's gonna be huge. I mean, I don't know why there's all this movie stuff like Joker's going to do really well. I think we all know that, right? I don't really. That's not a news story. Is something obvious a news story? I don't think so. Anyway, so it was announced 2 Toy Story things. The last bit of news, I guess, is about the original ending to Toy Story 4. Sorry, just ran and... Okay. The original ending to Toy Story 4 was going to involve Bo Peep after they gave Gabby Gabby to the other girl at the ending. Again, spoilers for Toy Story 4. She was going to see the girl who rejected Gabby Gabby originally. She was going to... She was going to see the girl who rejected Gabby Gabby originally and realized that she was for her and she was going to go off with her, which sort of ruins the whole ending. But apparently for a long time, that was the ending of the movie, is I guess they would go off with this girl, which to me like doesn't make any sense, and I'm glad they changed that. So if anyone, I don't know, I was like, I know Pixar has a tendency to change endings, and I'm glad they did that because that sounds like the worst. A couple of people are asking me, do I have TV news? I don't really do that much TV news unless it, like, I did Mystery Science Theater. I did a couple TV news things this week, but it's called Movie Crap, and I'm a movie critic and stuff. I don't know. I don't do a ton of TV news unless it interests me. By the way, if there is a thing you guys want me to talk about, then just tweet me and say, please talk about this on Movie Crap. Or if there's something you'd like to hear me talk more about or anything like that, just feel free to just like hit me up, let me know, because the more feedback, the more I'll know how to do the show. I kind of use you guys to organize this and pick which topics to talk about and so forth. So anyway, so for a little bit, Sophie's been watching a lot of Toy Story over the past year, and I kind of came up with a Woody origin theory, and I'm going to tell you it now, basically. So here is my theory for Toy Story, for Woody's origin. So basically, Woody is interesting in that he is not really from the era that any of the other toys are. He's clearly, in Toy Story 2, we learn that he is from the 50s. And it's sort of weird because he never really talks about another owner. He never really talks about where he came from. And the only thing we really know is that he is a family toy, and which she refers to again, and the mom refers to in Toy Story 2. So I kind of thought, well, clearly it's not hers. It's somebody else's because she has an immediate like emotional reaction to it. So here is my theory. She is Andy's mom. Does she have a name beyond mom? I'm not sure. She is too young to really have a toy like that. She did not get Woody when he was originally like out. That doesn't make any sense. So my theory is that she had an older brother who had Woody, loved playing with Woody, and then if he was older, I believe he probably would have been drafted, went to Vietnam. Before he went, he gave his younger little sister, Woody, and said, you know, he'll take care of you or remember me with this, because he was terrified and scared. He gets killed. Woody represents a lot more to her than just a cowboy. He probably represented something before he went off, but now he definitely represents something. And to kind of keep the memory of her brother alive, she gives the toy to Andy. I thought a lot about, everyone has this theory that Andy, sorry, I saw Izzy's thing real quick, but I'll get, I don't think it's Andy's dad's, really. I don't think that's a possibility. I think it is probably her brother's. And that's my kind of crazy theory, is that it was basically, you know, a kid who grew up in the 50s, which would make him age appropriate to get drafted, go off to Vietnam, and give a cowboy action figure to his younger sister. So that's basically my theory on what happened with Woody. That is my Woody theory. I also had a theory that maybe her brother was gay and he died of AIDS or something, but like that doesn't make as much sense as the Vietnam thing. Anyway, so sorry, that's fucked up. But so hold on. Izzy asked a question before I get to Patreon stuff. Hold on. Izzy asked me, did you see the thing where people noted reused assets and started theorizing that the main characters grew up in the critic's childhood home. But Brad Bird came and said, nah, it was cost effective. Oh, yeah. I did not see that, but that's interesting. Like the critic, like Jay Sherman's the critic? Or did they mean... Anyway. All right, so let me do these Patreon questions, and then we'll do your guys' questions and everybody's questions. So the first one is from I think I'm allowed to say his name. If I'm not, tell me. William Ellman, who asks, what is better ice cream? What is the better ice cream novelty? Ice cream sandwich or drumstick? Depends on the mood that I'm in, but I think I've eaten more ice cream sandwiches in my life personally. This is the interesting one, although I haven't read the one at the bottom, so that one might be interesting. Not that any of them aren't, you know what I mean. But this one, I hadn't heard about it. I'm interested. All right, so this is from Sinram, who you should check out his channel. He's actually one of my channels on the side there, and he's a cool guy. He's been supporting my channel for a very long time, and I love the guy. He's awesome. Izzy says Ratatouille. I think that's just a reference, but that's interesting. That's an interesting theory. I didn't hear that. Okay, so this is what Sinran brings up. I'm curious if you read about a recent Mickey Rourke story. He starred in Angel Heart with Robert De Niro, and I remember him giving an interview about 4 years later where he called it a rough shoot, without blaming anybody in particular. Well, apparently director Alan Parker and De Niro blame Rourke for being difficult to work with. So much so that Rourke was refused a role in The Irishman because De Niro never wants to work with Rourke again, despite over 30 years having passed since Angel Heart was finished. I did read this article, Senram sent an AV Club link, that apparently there's been this feud between Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro for 30 years, and we all just found out about it. And I'm curious, like, what he was going to be doing in The Irishman and how much he was involved. That sounds a little fishy because Mickey Rourke doesn't exactly have, like, a lot of heat on him at the time, like right now. So I find it that seems to be a little fishy. But it's interesting, apparently, like, everybody doesn't want to work with Mickey Rourke. I've heard he's kind of hard to deal with, so that kind of holds up from everything I've ever heard in my life. But yeah. All right. So this is from I'm so sorry, but it's from Will. I don't know how to say his last name, and I should have asked him because I talked to him recently. Have you heard anything about Dave Wilson, director of Love, Death, and Robots? Sonny's Edge is debuting in February with a feature film adaptation of comic book superhero Bloodshot with Vin Diesel as a star. If this were to be successful, do you think we would see more animation directors get big breaks into live action akin to Dave's? There's a lot that have. It feels like after Andrew Stanton fell apart and then Brad Bird fell apart, I haven't heard of a lot of animation directors getting shots in live action, but I think that will continue to happen. I don't know what's happening with Bloodshot, and I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with that and the Valiant things. I used to be a fan of Valiant Comics as a kid, actually, and they had that famous ad, the like Valiant Comics where dead means dead. So yeah. All right. So if anyone have questions in the chat, I'm just going to kind of go through what's been recently asked and just start asking away, and we'll just do this for a little bit because people want to go to bed, and I think I'm keeping people up, and that's not cool. So, but thank you all for being here and being supportive, and Izzy and Izzy, very thankful you're here. That makes me feel good. Anyway, so let's see. Jim, how are you today? I'm okay. I guess that's the best way to say that. Thoughts on YouTube's news from Zane Powers about verified channel updates. I agree with there was Ostrich Vox did a tweet about it, and I sort of agree with that, where I think it's necessary when you have multiple channels name the same thing. I think the verified thing, other than that, I know people really worked hard from it. I never got there, so it means less and less to me personally, but I do understand it's the reason behind it, and I don't think they should do that. Hold on. Disco Spider asks, are you pro Jared? I don't think anybody can be pro Jared right now. Okay, Bruce Parker asks, if DreamWorks were to give the live action Disney treatment to their film library, which would work the best? Man, that's hard. You see, you know what's funny though? Here's the interesting thing about that. You can't say Prince of Egypt because that's just the 10 Commandments, basically. I mean, that's pretty much, that would discount that. I don't know what you would do. They'd probably just do Madagascar or something like that. I will try to check Twitter. I see that something's happening on Twitter, and I don't know what it is or what's going on, but I will check Twitter with that. But anyway, yeah, got it. I guess it would probably be Madagascar. I don't want them to do Shrek, but I feel like that's inevitable. Ryan Walterson asked, did you know today is Bill Murray's 69th birthday? I didn't, but happy birthday, Bill Murray. Someone said Road to El Dorado. So here's the thing about Road to El Dorado with that, is that Road to El Dorado is a remake, basically the same thing as Ishtar, in that it bombed, in that it's a modern interpretation of the Road movies with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. So I would actually be down for that, but it would have to be more like Bob Hope and Bing Crosby movies just for today. I think that would work if they got the original actors, to be honest. I think that sounds like a lot of fun to me. So actually maybe that's a better answer. Jeremy Animation. Oh, damn it. I missed it. No, it moved. Jeremy Animation. Jim, I know that this isn't about movies, but what's your favorite Nintendo Switch? I don't know because I've never used it, but blue. On the subject of Toy Story, favorite Toy Story movie? Probably the first one. I like 3. I've grown. I didn't really like 2 when it came out because I didn't understand the use of it. I 2's maybe my least favorite, but it's kind of grown on me. I like 4 probably more than most people because I like the idea that they actually let Woody retire, and that's really stuck with me. Disco Spider said Batman Day. Yes, it is. I haven't seen the Bat Signal. I've been told I would be able to see it, and I actually read I'd be able to see it from the view from that's literally that way, and I haven't looked. I've been looking at the camera, but maybe I missed it. I know there's going to be a Bat Signal around New York. I would have liked to have seen it if it had happened. Izzy asked me, this is great. I was going to go to bed, but this got me to stay up and work more on the Long Gone Gulch thing. Cool. Okay. Well, hey, at least I'm doing something right and helping Long Gone Gulch, I guess, sort of. And you, I hope. Anyway, that was a weird way to say that. I'm sorry. Okay. The Nerdification asks, have you ever heard of the films Down and Dirty Duck and the Point? The latter was directed by Fred Wolf. The other was an adult animated film directed by Charles Swanson, made under Fred Wolf's studio. I've heard of Down and Dirty Duck. I haven't heard of The Point. I haven't watched Down and Dirty Duck, but it's one of those, much like how Saber did the Once Upon a Girl, or I'm saying that weird. His whatever the thing he did before the Don Bluth one. That's in that vein. I know it's one of those post Fritz the Cat X-rated animated films. Zane Powers, what's worse, a movie that's extremely boring and lifeless, or a movie that's frustrating and makes you angry? I would say lifeless and boring because there's no emotion, and that's more boring to me, frankly. Tyler asks, what kind of topic would you like to see in an animated film? I'd love to see more horror. I don't think there's enough horror. I would like to see something, I guess, horror. I wouldn't mind more straight dramas that kind of could be kind of accentuated with animation. I would like more Western, actually. So Long Gone Gulch, not to be like kind of being lame like that, but I think I like kind of more of the older genres, like film noir. I think would be good from Batman animated series. I like them to be use more of the classic genres that we don't get to use as much. Okay. When did you discover MST3K from Major Makazawa? I discovered it actually towards the end of the original run. I got really into it because I finally got Comedy Central and saw the kind of Escape from New York ripoff one, whichever that one was, like 2 before the end of season 7. I got really into it. I actually got into it really quickly and even had a party for the final episode. And then I was just like in after that. So that was around 96 that I got into it. And I've been kind of pretty into it ever since. And then the show ended and I'd like watch it from time to time. And now I'm like very into it. And I'm trying to review the rest of season 12. I guess I should say that. All right, question. Sorry if that was lame. Major Mekazawa. Oh no, I lost my place again. No. Fuck. Okay. Question: which streaming service do you think will give us the Critic revival? We already had a Critic revival and it sucked, so I don't really want that. Zane Powers, did you meet Andy's mom's brother when you were in Vietnam? You got me, and that's how I knew. So yes, I did. He was all right. He wasn't anything to write home about, but man, he got murdered. It was disgusting. Favorite comedian, mine is probably Rodney Dangerfield from Disco Spider. I don't know if I listen to a lot of the Mark Maron, but I don't know if I think he's funny. Man, I don't know. Probably Buster Keaton though, but that's not a comic, a stand-up comic. I'd say Dana Carvey used to be, because one of his specials I just watch incessantly. Maybe I'll just go with that. I don't know. Don't you ever disperch Toy Story 2? Thanks, Ryan. Okay. Hillbilly Otaku. I'm 26, so it is strange that I think of you as... So, I'm 26, so is it strange that I think of you as an older brother? No, I don't think that's strange. But yeah. I'm sorry if I spoiled Toy Story 4, Izzy. I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought you'd seen it. I don't know. Maybe I should put spoiler warnings. Ruined movie that made lots of money. I'm sorry. Someone said they saw the bat signal on his way home from the Williamsburg Bridge. Oh, you live in New York. Cool. That's awesome. That sounds really cool. Thank you. That's my cat Buster. Fred Wolf, the Ninja Turtles guy? I don't know if that's him. Jim, did you get a chance to check out Animation Block Party this weekend? No, I didn't. I would like to go to that again, but I don't think it's always hard to do that. Favorite Disney villain? Probably Cruella de Vil, because she's like so cool. Zane Powers, what's the most underrated and overrated films in eras, decades, in your opinion? Wow, that's a big one. I don't know. I always thought, Game of Thrones is overrated. I don't know. Do you think Hollywood will still do silent horror films these days? Probably not, but Quiet Place happens, so you never know. Did you ever read Donald Duck or Scrooge McDuck comics as a kid? I didn't, but I read them in Iceland where they're very popular, so yes. Jesus, there's a lot of these things. Favorite DC animated movie? Mask of the Phantasm, if that doesn't count. I like New Frontier a lot. I need to see more of them. I like the Wonder Woman a lot too. Hey Jim, Son of the White Mare is getting a re-release and the Blu-ray copy from the same people who did Belladonna. I didn't know about that, but that's an interesting thing. Thank you for liking the Speed Racer review. Favorite riff tracks you've seen? I haven't seen that many, but I like the Mystery Science Theater reunion one. Drink a Red Bull, please. Okay. Favorite Comedy Central show aside from Mystery Science Theater and South Park, Dr. Katz. That's from Ryan Walterson. Let's do a little. What's the worst fan interaction you had besides me? LOL. From Zane Powers. Pass. Is it better that we got 12 Forever or should it have stayed as a pilot for Cartoon Network? I'd never watched it, and I don't have much interest, to be honest, but it might have probably, Netflix right now probably wishes it had done that. Question, who would you cast as a Silver Surfer in the MCU? Probably someone muscular and has kind of a dreamy kind of surfer quality who can talk like that. I used to think this guy who was Samantha's boyfriend on Sex and the City should be Silver Surfer a long time ago, but that never happened. So I don't know actually currently, but it would be someone very muscular but could kind of like daze off in the way. Who's better, Zigzag or Ragged? I don't get that one. Worst comedy you've ever seen from Zane Powers? Probably Food Fight, I guess. Something like that. I don't know. Any thoughts on the new Far-Fetched Evolution, the Rambo reaction from the creator? What? I don't know. Sorry. Okay. Thoughts on the raid on Area 51? I mean, did anything happen? I don't know. Anyway, is that everything? I think we got it. All right. So, this is the shortest movie crap ever, but I need to have it short this time. So, I think that is it this time. We got to everything. We did it really quickly. That is cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry if I didn't answer a question. If there are more things you want me to go over next week, please let me know. Yeah. Oh, how did I meet Pan? I met Pan through Pizza Party. When you heard me talk to him, that was basically on the first one. That's basically when you heard me talk to him. And what was my favorite Mystery Science Theater live show? I would say maybe the second one I saw, but I really liked the new one, and I'll have a review of that coming up. Oh, where's my notes? Okay, so this past week, I had videos this week. I want to talk about those before I leave. I had a Cleus Fetus commentary for Patreon only. I will have an exclusive original cut of the June 2019 video that will be out tomorrow night probably on Patreon as well. videos I made this week was the Banana Splits movie review and a Speed Racer review, which only came out early this morning because YouTube processing was taking too long, and I like to sleep sometimes. But I have both reviews of Banana Splits movie and Speed Racer. I did a lot of writing and research on the Don Bluth video that Saber made, which I think is really good, and I'm very proud of that, and please check that out. Pizza Party came out, which doesn't feel like it was from this week because we recorded a while ago. I'm excited for the next one. Next week, they're going to be, Ad Astra will happen later. I saw Mystery Science Theater live when I would have seen Ad Astra, so that is the delay on that. Mystery Science Theater live review will be this coming week, as well as potentially Hustlers, and I'm also working on sort of a personal video essay, which is taking me a while, so that's why there's been a lack of videos, but I think you're going to I think you're going to like it. Everyone I've sort of told about it thinks it's cool, so I'm excited. Anyway, I am working on a theme song also for this. I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, I'm working on a lot of cool stuff, and I'm very excited about it. But I wanted to thank all of you for being here and being so cool and being so supportive, and Izzy for being here, and everybody like that. So thank you all very much for being here and coming here every week. I will hopefully be back next week. I'm not sure what time, but I will let you know. And you guys have a good night, and I will see you next time. Peace out.